Hi, my name is Kevin Tanner, and I'm going to be giving a presentation on the weapons and technology of the world wars. Um, First thing I'm going to talk about is a little introduction. Weapons and technology had so much influence on these two wars, and these two wars actually had more influence on the world than most battles did, and the way that these two wars were fought, it was so much different than previous ones. There was more upgraded weapons, and evolved weapons is a better word than upgraded, let's say that. There was more evolved weapons and technology, like there was better boats, and there was more evolved planes that were used during these wars. And there was just, from these two battles, there were so many like influential things that came from these. And I'm gonna relate this topic to big idea number 2, labor and technology. The reason I picked this is because labor during the war, there were so many soldiers that were drafted into this war that didn't choose to fight. They were kind of forced into it, and they were taken away from their families and their jobs and their lives, basically, just to fight this war that they really didn't want to be involved in, but they kind of had to be, because at the time you really didn't have a choice. So that's why I related it to labor and technology. I'm gonna talk about this because there's so many evolved technological things that were brought up from these two wars. So my primary and secondary sources. Um, my first primary source is the book From the Book of the War by Henry Ruoff, 1918. This great epic destruction engulfed 23 nations, all driving their energies of life and economic resources toward the highest possible point of efficiency. Now to destroy, but finally, we hope to build a new and super civilization. The group of so-called Central Powers embraces Germany, Austria-Hungary, Turkey, and Bulgaria. The opposing group of the Entente allies, originally headed by Russia, France, and Great Britain, including the following 18 in all. That was by Henry Ruoff in 1918. This quote this quote talks about how there was 23 different nations involved in the First World War. It's crazy. 23. Just imagine, say there's 200,000 on each side. That is so many different soldiers. Just imagine the different weapons that were used during this war. It is crazy. That is absolutely nuts. A few of my secondary sources are the American Yawp, which is our class textbook, 2019, and History.com. History.com, actually, that one talked about Auschwitz, the concentration camp in Germany. There was actually over 20 concentration camps that were being used by Germany. And those were, to be honest, their most powerful weapon, and why they had so much power, because they were keeping so many people imprisoned at these concentration camps that there were less people to fight, and it was harder for them. It was harder for other people to fight back because they had so many weapons and so many things to hurt other people and places. The significance of weapons and technology during the wars. If you think about it, if there were different weapons and technology, who knows the outcome of the war, and who knows what it would be like now if there was different technology and weapons. Like, just think, if there was no concentration camps, would Germany have been so powerful, and would they had so much control over everybody? Who knows? Like, that's one of the really good questions that is it could have been a lot worse. Like, who knows how the war could have turned out if there were different weapons. And the world technology evolved during these wars. It was said that technology played just as big as a part in the wars as soldiers did. This was the first kind of the World War I and World War II were two of the first wars that really used like that. It had evolved technology and used more evolved technology and to use in warfare, and it played a bigger part during these wars than a lot of the previous ones. Some of the personal takeaways: I learned that there were a lot more weapons and strategizing to wars than I had ever thought. There's so much information on this topic that I didn't know what to use and what not to use, and I'm gonna know a lot of the information for a long time that I learned from this. There was not a thing that I didn't like about this topic. It was very interesting. And in conclusion, without the technology and weapons during these wars, who knows where we would be and who knows who would be ruling the world. Because if a lot of these weapons weren't a thing, then the United States might not be as powerful. All of these things played a huge part in the wars and had great influence on how they ended. The end of these two wars gave a lot of people more freedom and peace. Thank you.